Hey everybody, ABC 10 meteorologist Brendan Minchef here. We are 5 days into our triple-digit stretch of weather, and we still have a week to go before we fall out of the triple digits. And here's the truth. We may not have even seen the hottest temperatures just yet because Friday and Saturday could deliver the hottest days not only so far this year, but potentially the hottest days at all this year. For the 4th of July, we made it to 109 degrees downtown Sacramento, 106 degrees Sacramento Executive, 108 in Stockton, and 107 in Modesto. And that 108 at the Stockton Airport actually tied the record for the hottest 4th of July in Stockton. I also noticed the low temperatures. We've been starting off pretty warm in those upper 60s and low 70s. The average highs for the time of year are in those low to mid 90s, and the average low temperatures are in the low 60s. So we are way above average, both in the mornings and in the afternoons. And unfortunately, that's going to continue for some time. Like we talked about, July 4th, so far the hottest day this year, downtown Sacramento, 108 the day before that, 106 the day before that, 105 June 22nd, and 104 on June 11th rounds out the top 5 hottest days. But we may add a couple more to the top of that list before this is all said and done. So here's our current 100-degree stretch. It started June 30th, made it to 100, and then July 1st was 103, July 2nd, 106, July 3rd, 108, July 4th, 109. And could we fill out this entire board? I believe we could actually fill out this entire board with triple-digit heat. It's going to get close to the low hundreds by the time we get to about Friday of next week, and that just goes to show you how much more time we have to go. The longest stretch of 100-degree plus temperatures downtown was 11 days. We did that July 16th through July 26th, 2006. The longest stretch of 105 plus was 7 days. We did that in 2013. And the longest 110 plus stretch is just 2 days, but that was actually quite an exceptional stretch. We were close to 116, September 5th, September 6th, 2022. All of these could fall in this heat wave that we're in right now. I think there's a really good chance we probably tie or set a new one for the 100-degree plus stretch. There's a good chance, I think a decent to good chance, that we probably set a new one for the 105 plus. Depending on how Friday and Saturday shakes out, we may tie this one. Not sure we're actually going to set a new one here for 110 plus, but we're just going to have to wait and see how it goes, because this high pressure is very, very stubborn. It is not going anywhere. It just continues to really sit right over the West Coast all the way through the weekend, and it's not until the start of next week that we actually drop towards 105 as opposed to 110, and then slowly through the latter half of next week as that high pressure very, very slowly just kind of takes its time working east a little bit, do we finally see temperatures go from the triple digits into those upper 90s. But again, that is going to be next Friday or Saturday. So the ABC 10 weather impact headlines, it continues to be all about the heat now through Tuesday. We're looking at that excessive heat warning. We're going to be very hot Friday and Saturday. By Sunday, we're going to drop closer to 105 as opposed to 110. That'll hold through at least Tuesday. You're just going to want to limit your time outside, really, just because it is so hot. And in this heat, in this weather, it does not take much to get heat exhaustion and then heat stroke potentially as well. If you are going to be outside, it's really important that you stay hydrated, drink plenty of water before time in the heat, during your time in the heat, and then after as well. And then wear sunscreen. It won't keep you cool, but the sunscreen will help to keep you from getting burnt, which will just really exacerbate the situation. Also, before we talk more about the heat, I just also want to say here, just because the red flag warnings in the valley have expired doesn't mean that the fire danger is lower. It just means that we're not seeing those north winds, so we don't meet the criteria for a red flag warning. But the fuels in the valley and lower elevations are so dry and it is so hot that it will not take much for a fire to get started and established quickly. There's just not a driver of the fire, which would be the wind, really. So if anything does get established, hopefully it wouldn't take a whole lot of time to get a containment around that fire. But the point is, fire danger is still very high, not just in the valley, but also in the coastal range, the north coast, and in the Bay Area as well. And that's just going to continue to be the case basically for the rest of the summer. Forecast highs on Friday afternoon are going to be similar for Saturday as well. So really, you can think of this as a forecast almost for Friday and Saturday afternoon. About 100 in Twain Harte, 98 Arnold and Pollock Pines, 100 in Forest Hill, about 114 up in Oroville, which maybe is 1 or 2 degrees warmer. These are computer models, most of them. Again, it could be maybe 1 or 2 degrees above what I'm expecting, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for sure. 110 in Tracy, 107 Antioch, 107 Rio Vista, 108 Vacaville, 104 in Fairfield. Across the valley, we're going to be near those record high temperatures. 110 Turlock, Patterson, Modesto, Manteca, 109 Stockton, Lodi, 110 in Galt and Elk Grove, 109 in Davis, 113 in Woodland, 115 up in Colusa, 114 in Yuba City. Again, that might be 1 or 2 degrees warmer than what I actually expect us to get to up there. But like with Oroville, it is not out of the realm of possibility. It is very doable that we get to somewhere like 114 today. 110 in Sacramento, about 110 West Sac, the International Airport, maybe closer to 112. But really, no matter where you are in the metro, we're going to be right around that 110 mark this afternoon. Excessive heat warnings continue across the valley, across much of the Southwest. We also have the heat advisory up in the high country, heat advisories in the Bay Area, heat advisories down in the Monterey Bay Area as well. There's really nowhere to go to escape the heat. The entire U.S. West Coast is looking at an excessive heat warning or heat advisory. It is just brutally hot across the U.S. West right now. We've got those excessive heat warnings in effect from the southern international border all the way up to the northern international border through Washington State. And that just goes to show you that we are all dealing with the heat across the region. And in fact, as we take a look at the Climate Central Climate Shift Index, this heat, especially in the Sacramento Valley and really just much of California, the Central Valley, the deserts of Southern California, is a level 5 out of 5 on the index. That is an exceptional event driven by climate change making these temperatures at least 5 times more likely. I do want to say, though, we are seeing some cooler spots in parts of the Rockies, in parts of New Mexico, even parts of the upper Great Lakes kind of hidden back here. But you see that there. That's actually a -1 on the index, and that means climate change is making these temperatures less likely to occur with climate change. So some parts are cooler and are going to see cooler temperatures less likely and less frequently as we go deeper into the 21st century. Whereas on the West Coast, these hot temperatures we're seeing are being made much, much more likely. Again, at least 5 times more likely for much of the state of California. Now, these temperatures are going to continue into the weekend. 110 degrees on Saturday as this really strong and excessive heat event continues. This exceptional heat event that's driven by climate change. This is unnatural warming. As we take a look over the last 2,000 years at how much the globe has warmed. And we can reconstruct temperatures beyond the Industrial Revolution via things like ice cores and tree rings. There's even some sediment from the ocean we can take that can help tell us what the composition of the atmosphere was like and what the temperature was like. But that is natural variability, the ups and downs that we see. What we see since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, when we started burning coal and later oil, those fossil fuels, a significant warming trend, a very steep warming trend that has occurred in a very short amount of time. That is unnatural warming. This is natural variability, natural warming, natural cooling. What we've seen over the last roughly 150 years plus is unnatural warming due to the burning of coal and fossil fuels. And this is changing our baselines. This is making these excessive heat days more likely to happen into the future, as we saw in that climate shift index with a level 5 out of 5, because this is a bell curve. And maybe you're familiar with this from college, per se, with grades where you can, blow the curve if you get a really good grade, or maybe your grade can be boosted if the whole class does a little worse on the test. But the point is, we can also use this with temperatures. So in the past, a lot of our average days would have fallen in here at the top of the curve, and then we'd have those extreme cold days. We'd have these very extreme heat days as well, but they were less common maybe 100 years ago, even 50 years ago. But what's happening is, as the globe as a whole is warming, this bell curve shifts warmer. So we still get these cold days. We still get these extreme cold snaps. Ask any Texan that lived through the February 2021 winter storm. It was cold. I was one of them. I was there for that. I'll tell you, it was. We set tons of cold records, cold temperature records. Longest time below freezing. In West Texas, we hit the negatives in the evenings. So we can get these cold snaps, but they're just way less likely than they were 50, 100, 150 years ago or more. What's more likely is that we see these warmer temperatures. So now our average maybe fell here, but now that's at the end of the bell curve in today's climate, and our averages are now what would have been considered more extreme heat 50 or 100 years ago. And also, as this curve shifts, we're really unlocking the potential for more extreme heat days like what we're seeing with this heat wave here in Northern California that's ongoing right now and will continue into next week. As we look at the heat risk forecast, we've got extreme heat risk that continues through the weekend, especially in the foothills, because we are not going to have a lot of that onshore flow, if any, and that is going to keep us very, very warm overnight. Some areas won't get out of the 80s when you wake up Saturday and Sunday mornings. By Monday, we finally start to see, barely, but we finally start to see that delta breeze pick up a little bit. That onshore flow is going to start to help us out, and those temperatures in the afternoon are going to be dropping closer to 100 as opposed to 110. By Tuesday, again, temperatures continue to drop. We're back in that moderate heat risk, which is a lot more manageable, and it's because we're going to start to see that delta breeze redeveloping. So to put this on a map, this is what it looks like for Friday. You can see the the extreme heat risk there through the foothills. It actually expands as we go through Saturday. Even Sunday, we still have large swaths of that extreme heat risk in the foothills, both in the Sierra and in the coastal range. But look what happens on Monday. We finally get a little bit more of that onshore flow, starts to make it a little further up the valley, and afternoon temperatures come down a little bit. That starts to reduce that heat risk for Monday. For Tuesday, it looks quite a bit better. And for Wednesday, we continue to see improvement, especially in the higher elevations as well, because of that lowering afternoon temperature and the return of some of that onshore flow. But the weather impact remains the same through at least Tuesday. From 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., we're going to see that extreme heat, that excessive heat, with very, very warm evenings. We'll still be near 100 degrees at 8 o'clock at night most of these evenings. So again, that excessive heat. The need, you're just going to want to limit time outdoors. You want to stay inside as much as possible. I know it's a holiday weekend. I know a lot of us want to be out on the river. Maybe we're going up to the high country, whatever it may be. Just be careful outside. Again, make sure you're drinking plenty of water before, during, and after time in the heat. And make sure you're wearing that sunscreen as well, which will help keep you from getting burnt. You can also wear a hat that covers your ears and the back of your neck, whether that's more of a cowboy-style Western hat or even just kind of a floppy, maybe fisherman-style hat. Anything that'll cover your neck and your ears is good and will also help to keep you cool. As we go through the next 10 days, we'll start with the next three. 110 on Friday, 110 on Saturday. Both of these are weather impact alert days. Very, very hot. Also hot in the afternoons, in the late evenings into the mornings, where their low temperature Saturday morning is going to be about 70 degrees. Low temperature Sunday mornings about 68 degrees. So warm starts, very hot afternoons. Once we start to work in towards Monday and Tuesday, temperatures do drop closer to 105 and then closer to even 100 on Tuesday, but we don't quite hit the 90s. In fact, over the next 7 days, I expect all of the next week to be in the triple digits. It's what happens when we get to about Friday next week. Within, I've got a high temperature of 100. That's very borderline as to whether a streak continues or ends. By Saturday and Sunday, I've got highs in those upper 90s, 98 Saturday, 97 on Sunday. So at some point, this triple-digit streak will come to an end. The question is when, and it looks like we've got at least another 7 days worth of these triple-digit temperatures, but certainly the hottest stretch of heat does look to be Friday through Sunday before we start to see a very gradual cooling trend into next week. But still, it's hard to say 100 to 105 is cool, but at least compared to 110, 111, 112, it's 10 to 12 degrees cooler. So continue to practice good heat safety out there. I know we're all getting tired of the heat. I get it. I understand it. I feel like I'm a broken record talking about the heat, but heat is the deadliest natural disaster across the United States. It kills more people than hurricanes, than tornadoes, than you name it, than cold, than wind. Heat is the number one weather killer in the United States. So it is important to take the heat seriously. It is important to take heat safety seriously while you're out and about. And again, if you're going to spend any time out there, make sure you're staying hydrated, taking frequent breaks in the shade in the AC, and wearing that sunscreen. All of those things will help continue to stay safe and continue to stay with ABC 10 and ABC 10 Plus for the very latest on this California heat wave.